Oop, can't getting into place, but okay. I think it's time for me to explain my opinion on Shadow The Hedgehog. Okay. So I'm gonna start this off by saying that I don't think Shadow the Hedgehog is that great of a game in many ways. There are things I like about Shadow the Hedgehog. And I'll admit I can enjoy playing Shadow the Hedgehog, but just because I can enjoy playing it doesn't mean I think it's a well-designed game. That is something I will establish. So I'll go over my problems with the design of the game, and my workarounds that I've sort of created for them. So the first off is the control. I've played Shadow the Hedgehog for years, since I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that. Yeah, my dad got it for me, and he didn't know about the rating system in games, so I explained to him that the game was E10, which meant I wasn't supposed to play it because I wasn't 10, but I played it anyway. And they swore and whatnot. Well, I mean, like minor curse words, but, I didn't really notice. The control is, like, slippery by nature. It's meant to be ice physics because of Shadow's shoes. Of course, this wasn't a thing in Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, it sort of was in Heroes, but that was like it for every character as well. So, in the case of Shadow being slippery, it makes sense as far as I'm concerned, but I do think it's difficult to adapt to. I've adapted to it, but that doesn't mean that it's easy for someone to adapt to. Now, there are many things in Shadow the Hedgehog I've learned or just adapted to, I'd say. And, as people say, in a game, if you learn a workaround to something, it doesn't mean it's good, because you need to learn a workaround to it. It should be designed so it can just work as an element anyway. And I agree, but the enjoyment you get out of a game is the enjoyment you get out of a game, and if you need to, play a game to just get experience with it in order to have fun with it, then I don't think you having fun with it is any problem. In other words, you having fun with a game is fine with me. However, you thinking a game is well designed is a bit more... I question that a bit more critically. Now, of course, you can have whatever opinion you want in the end. But, I will judge your opinion nonetheless. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to think your opinion is, like, inferior or something. This just comes down to what I think it is. I don't think opinions are inferior or superior. I just disagree with them, or I agree with them. So the control I've adapted to. I can play the game. One thing I'll say about adapting to the control is just learn how to let go of the analog stick to cancel your momentum. In Sonic Heroes and in Shadow the Hedgehog, characters, I'd say, really like to carry and hold on to their momentum when they land on the ground, which makes them go for a little slide, I'd say. In both of those games, I say learn how to stop yourself by holding back, and learn how to get rid of that held momentum by just not holding forward. You hold forward, and all that carried momentum will push the character forward and leave them sliding, which you can lose control over the character that way. Now, as for just moving around, I'd say that just comes with memorizing the level design. You can move fast if you know what's going up, but I'd say almost all of Sonic is like that, actually, so I don't see that as a whole negative. Even in the Genesis games, there are a multitude of instances where you can just get hit by just running forward. And of course, it becomes rewarding when you know about those obstacles beforehand, and you can react or, you know, move when you know said hazard is going to come into contact with you. In the case of Shadow, though, it may feel a little less rewarding, because Shadow is more awkward to control for people. Now, in terms of the combat, I'm fine with it, and I honestly think most people are also fine with it. The lock-on for guns is really good, I'd say, and except for manual aiming guns, which are already made up for their difficulty to aim and their power alone, I'd say. I'd say the combat's fine. I think it's fun, honestly. Except when you don't have a gun. But yeah, combat, I find fine. I think other people can get into that fine. So, I'm going to talk about the plot now. So the plot, there are multiple arguments for this, and I'll give you mine. But I'll give you others I see first. So the main other one I see with a complaint about the plot is that the plot is completely disconnected and serves no purpose when completing the multiple scenarios. But even then, the multiple scenario idea is just destroyed at the end due to the final story, which makes all the, element of choosing your own scenario and choosing how Shadow goes irrelevant because it's not canon. And that's the argument there. However, canonicity is barely relevant for me. Canonicity is debatable, like it is. It's also selectable. Even if some company states that this is canon or whatever, you don't need to judge it like that unless you want to. You don't need to judge Star Wars by a trilogy or a hexalogy with the prequels or whatever, it is now with all these other movies coming out. But, you can just judge New Hope as it is. That's it. You can just judge it as one story. It's fine. It's fine. So for Shadow the Hedgehog, the example I'm giving is that, basically, I like the idea of the multiple story paths. I like it, and for me, I just have fun, I guess, making fan fiction, sort of. It's not really fan fiction, it's just making up some scenario to entertain myself. Either trollish or actually serious to try and incite some imaginary character development. I just find it can give you, or give me, some entertainment. And, the plot, being not important to the Sonic overall narrative is irrelevant to me because Sonic doesn't have some standard timeline that you can follow anyway. So why even bother going there? Oh no, it's not canon. The timeline is messed up. Implying that there was one. I mean, if there's a canon, that means there's a lore, right? Except just the chronological order of the games. There's an overarching plot, right? That's why it's important that things are canon, right? Because that means it actually happened in the overall narrative, right? Well, Sonic games don't really have a connected, narrative. It's not really known really all that much of, how many things in general are canon. And for me, it's just irrelevant. It is. Sonic's story I don't really take seriously unless it's the comics. That's pretty much all I take seriously, I'd say. I can look at serious elements of other games and respect them. But that doesn't mean I take it seriously. I've never taken it seriously. Even when I was a child, even when I was 8 years old playing Sonic Adventure 2 or whatever, I still wasn't taking it seriously. Sorry to say. Yeah. But, so, Shadow the Hedgehog, the guilty pleasure in it comes from sort of all the things coming together. I'm used to the controls, I remember the level design, including all the missions, pretty much all the missions, and I have fun just making up my own scenarios. due to that, I can have fun with the game. Now, do I think the game is well designed because of that? No, I don't think the game is well designed. But I can have fun with it because I've memorized it and have a way to just sort of play around with it in a unique way, I'd say. So, I'll go over my design problems. The, hunting aliens, the problem with that is that, Wes, until you just memorized it, actually going fast through it is not really all that possible, I'd say. And, when you have memorized it, like I have, I actually have some fun with it. But memorizing it takes quite a bit, I'd say. Quite a bit, I'd say. Especially if you're not into memorization like I am. So, you just go looking for aliens, and you are looking for them. You're searching for them. They're hiding behind specific sections of the road. You need to turn the camera to see, or go in that general direction to see. And if you miss one, you gotta go all the way back and get it again. So, yeah, I don't think that's good design at all. And of course, you need to do this to go along the separate pathways. This means that it's pretty, it's a bit less fun to go on the other not neutral pathways. You go on the other neutral pathways to see how the game goes. I mean, you have the plot, which I've already critiqued. I mean, for me, I have fun with the plot, but the plot is just disconnected. And how much it makes sense is up to how you perceive the situations and the route you take. Because you can take routes that just completely contradict, like character statements and, whatnot. Like, one of my favorite scenarios to make up, just as a joke, is going to Mad Matrix, doing the Dark Mission, which takes you to Iron Jungle, and then doing the Hero Mission there, which takes you to Cosmic Fall. In Mad Matrix, the boss there, who is Eggman, will say, Shadow, you have no past, when Shadow asks him. Next mission, Iron Jungle. At the end of that, you fight Eggman again, and he says, yeah, Shadow, you're my creation. And then, on Cosmic Fall, if you do the Dark Mission, you'll fight Eggman again. And when you beat him, actually even before you fight him, he'll say, yeah, you're my grandfather's creation. So he went from, you have no past, to, you're my creation, to, you're my grandfather's creation. All between just a level. And I just laugh at that. I do laugh at that. But, so, like, the plot, as I said, makes as much sense as you make it by what route you take. And, doesn't need to make sense. In that way, it just seems sort of like plot elements that exist within these levels. And how you go about, getting to these and connecting these plot elements is up to you. Which, I mean, for me is okay, because the story making sense is up to you. And I'm fine with that, You can just play it to just play it. It doesn't need to make sense. And for me, the game making sense isn't really the most important. For me specifically it is, but for the game in general it isn't. Because the game doesn't have a concrete narrative. It's just you doing whatever you want. You being renegade or hero or whatever. And then leaves things up to you, which I'm okay with, but the problem is sort of getting invested in it. I only get invested in it by just making up random scenarios, because the characters are just pretty dumb, I'd say. In my opinion. Gun character's contradictive. Like, Gun Command is contradictive, He literally says, like, yeah, Maria was my only family, and then the next sentence he says, you killed my family. So what? You had family, but you said Maria was your only family. That makes no sense. So I can just laugh at that. Things like that. I can laugh at how Gun Commander looks as a kid. I can laugh at Gun Commander's hypocrisy, being that he joined Gun despite Gun being the organization that killed Maria, his so-called best friend. Or his only family, whatever you say. Hypocrisy. either just frustrating or amusing to me. And, you know, Black Doom, you know, him being voiced by Sean Shamble and him being a pretty cartoonish villain, I'd say. I can laugh at him as well, yeah. But, you know, I can actually ignore some of those things for a second, you know, while I'm playing. And just make up a scenario where I take things seriously, like actually give Shadow character development and whatnot. I'd say my favorite scenario is... I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember the name of it, but my favorite scenario was going... dark, neutral, hero. So in that one, you know, Shadow betrays Westopolis or whatever. He betrays Westopolis, destroys that city, or at least leads to it pretty much ending up destroyed or not doing good. So then he's sent to Digital Circuit, where he destroys the government program or whatever, which weakens its defense system and communication systems, I presume. So then he goes to, you know, the Cryptic Castle. And then he just leaves, gets a Chaos Emerald, that's it. And he's confused at why he's done this. He doesn't like humans. He doesn't trust them, and the humans are attacking him. So he fought back. But was it self-defense or was it full-on hatred? He remembers humans killing Maria, you know. How much he remembers of Maria is up to him, but he does remember that he was trying to protect Maria. So the humans tried to kill Maria, so... Was he justified in what he did? Questions. So then Black Doom appears and takes him to the Doom. And in this I have Shadow go hero route. So in here, Shadow saves all the humans who are being attacked by gun soldiers. So now Shadow can look badly at gun, but he protect the humans aboard the Ark. So now by this point, I'd say, you know, Shadow has an idea of what he wants to do. And he knows that not all humans are bad. He doesn't like gun, because of what they've done. But, you know, he is willing to defend innocent humans. Yeah. And now he understands and remembers Maria and whatnot. So he remembers most things by this point, I'd say. And at this point, you see this. Shadow was questioning what he did before, and Black Doom tries to turn him back. But Black Doom, showing him images of the Ark, actually didn't pay off for him. So Black Doom used the tactic and ended up failing. Now, Shadow goes to Iron Jungle, where you get the whole Shadow Android bit introduced. Now this just confuses Shadow even more, of course. This confuses Shadow even more. He wonders, are these memories, you know, even mine? Like, am I actually, like, real or not? Whatnot. Eggman says yes. Shadow's confused, but he denies it after beating Eggman. Then Shadow goes to Cosmic Fall, and here, the first thing Shadow says is, what does it all mean? You know, the Doctor's actions and words, nothing makes sense. Now, which Doctor he's referring to, you know, it's debatable. Maybe Gerald, but he also could be referring to Eggman. You know, being that, why didn't Eggman before say Shadow was his robot? Why didn't he establish that before? Because Shadow's met Eggman twice in this scenario. So Eggman doesn't just sort of like pop out, never being introduced. Because he appears twice. One in Cryptic Castle, one in Iron Jungle. But, you know, he also, Shadow's like, why did he point that out earlier? So Shadow's thinking that it's most likely he's actually real, considering, you know, information presented to him. Considering Black Doom thought he was special. Now, okay, cut off there for a bit. So, Shadow goes and meets with Black Doom after he finds the computer room. And, he says, you know, am I the ones the humans refer to as the evil one? And then Black Doom says, yeah, you were created from me, you were a part of me, whatever. So then Shadow's like, I need to atone for my sins. So, you know, he turned to the best efforts, his opponent's with gun. But if he was truly the one who ended up killing people, then, he's okay with letting his life end, because he's a threat to humanity. The good people of humanity in his eyes. So then he fights Black Doom, wins, and then he just sees himself as a mistake that shouldn't have ever existed. Because in his eyes now, from what he understands, all he did was lead to the deaths of people, including, Maria, who he liked or loved or whatever. Familial love, sexual love, I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. 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 So that's an example of me making a story up in Shadow the Hedgehog. Now that's just implying things and making up things to just sort of make a story out of it to entertain myself. But, you see how I articulated it. And, I'm pretty sure I put more thought into the character interaction than the actual developers of the game did. But, yeah, I had fun with it. So the thing is, like, you can do that with Shadow. If you're in a situation like me, where you've completely memorized the level design, I'm accustomed to the controls, and can just make up your own scenarios, I guess you can enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. But I do think it's designed poorly. I can enjoy it, but just because I can enjoy it doesn't mean I think it's designed well. I can enjoy Sonic and the Secret Rings, but that doesn't mean I think it's designed well. I can say that for a multitude of Sonic games. I can even say that for some other games where I think they're designed well, but I can't enjoy them. Trying to think of a game like that now, actually. I can give that example, but I just have difficulty thinking of games like that. I'd say it's like most... Yeah, I'd say there's like a lot of games like that, but, yeah, it's an example I could give. But that's my feelings on Shadow the Hedgehog. That's why I enjoy playing it. Those are reasons I don't consider it a good game, but I can enjoy it. And, yeah. Okay, so that's it. Goodbye.